This is the Level Up runner here. Did you level up today? Today I'm going to do a race recap of the 2020 Trillium Trail Trek half marathon distance. That race was yesterday. We had a finishing time of 2 hours and 25 minutes, average pace 11:52, heart rate 162, max heart rate at 187. Overall, the race went pretty well. We had wonderful weather starting in the low 50s. The race was at 8 o'clock. Sunrise was 7:30, so by the time we got there mid pickup, it was already pretty sunny. I want to talk about 3 major takeaways that I had. Number 1, the MAF training really paid off. Coming into the race starting in July, going all the way up to October, the month of the race, we had 220 miles of MAF under our belt. Even though I was running the whole race at a higher heart rate level than my Maffetone heart rate zone, I had more than enough aerobic capacity to finish the entire race going at that higher pace. So I attribute that to Maffetone training, enabling me to have more runs per week and longer runs during each of those training sessions. What also really helped was the long runs and how I was able to increase the long run distances. My max long run distance was 10 miles at a time of 2 hours and 5 minutes. That was takeaway number 1, was the Maffetone training paid off. Takeaway number 2 is the importance of trail specific training. We did do some trail runs at Stone Mountain. However, the elevation gain and loss was not as dramatic as the race yesterday. For the Trillium Trail Trek, we had a total of 1,732 feet of elevation gain and 1,775 feet according to the Garmin of elevation loss. So that is actually a net loss in elevation. We did not have as nearly much elevation gain and loss during our training runs. So takeaway number 2 is race specific training is very helpful, and we'll look to do more race specific training in the future, incorporating elevation gain and loss on the trail. The trail runs at Stone Mountain helped us gain trail familiarity to navigate the rocky and rooty parts of the trail. I think that really helped. So we did incorporate trail training, but not nearly as enough elevation gain and loss. So in the future, for our next trail races, we'll be incorporating more elevation gain and more elevation loss according to the race course. So that's takeaway number 2. The third takeaway is the importance of nutrition and fueling leading up to the race and during the race. Leading up to the race on Friday, the day before the race, we had a lot of plant-based foods, and we ensured to have a large lunch and a smaller dinner, and that helped us reach our carb loading requirements to have enough energy in our system to have a strong start throughout the race. The fueling part was essential. I had 2 electrolyte flasks in my Solomon vest. Each one was half a liter, so I had 1 liter of fluid on me filled with electrolyte fluid. And I also had brought 4 gels, Honey Stinger gels with me, along with 2 sticks of Honey Stinger blocks. I only had 2 gels and a few blocks, but that was more than enough for me. I started fueling 40 minutes in, and then also at an hour and a half, and I had a few blocks afterwards. I saved my first electrolyte flask for the first lap, and then I started on the second electrolyte flask for my lap 2, and that worked out pretty well. I was not fatigued. I had constant energy levels, and I did not have any bonking at all. I did not feel dehydrated. I think a large part was that the weather was a lot cooler. There wasn't a lot of direct sun exposure due to the amount of shade coverage we had running in the forest, and that definitely helped out, because previously when we would do long runs, we would run out of water for a 10-mile run because of how hot it was and the amount of sun exposure we had. And one thing to note is that the Trillium Trail Trek half marathon distance is not 13.1 miles. It is actually 12.3 miles. And on my Garmin, I actually got 12.22. I could have run a little faster for mile 11 to 12. But that's for another race day. So all in all, that was a pretty productive race. We were really fortunate and glad to have had the opportunity to participate in this race in early October of 2020 due to COVID. The race was very well organized. All of the race volunteers had masks. We had masks and we had buffs on at the start of the race and during bib check-in. Everything was in a plastic bag. We had minimal contact with other folks. The race start was a wave start. We all started in one long pack. As other folks went, you could go whenever you saw a gap. There wasn't as many people at the race. There's only about 20 to 30 people, so there was a lot of ample room for social distancing. And the race times are based on the chip time, so it's not by gun time. We're still waiting on the official results. We're recording this the day after the race in the afternoon. All in all, I think we had a really good race. We're happy that we were able to do a trail race at this distance. This was our first trail race at any distance, and we had a lot of fun, so we hope to do more trail races in the future. Just want to summarize the 3 major takeaways that we had. Number 1, MAF training. It really works. Really built up the aerobic base. I had enough energy throughout, and I felt like I could have gone for another 5 miles. Takeaway number 2 involves race-specific training. I felt like training on Stone Mountain helped us navigate the trails, and it's very different from a smooth road racing. We can incorporate more race-specific training, especially when it comes to trail racing where there's a lot of elevation gain and loss. I felt like we could incorporate a little bit more for future training runs, so I think we'll be doing that. And then the 3rd major takeaway was the nutrition. The nutrition going into the race, we ate very healthy, and that paid off, and we also hydrated very well. And then during the race, we fueled really consistently, and that led us to have consistent energy throughout. That's it for the race recap for the Trillium Trail Trek half marathon distance 2020. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. That'll help this video and channel out. I'm the Level Up Runner. Make sure you level up today, and I'll see you in the next video.